Hello fellow makers and welcome back to 3D printed soup. I have recently bought the new heroquest from Hasbro. It's a remake of an 80s game from MB and Games Workshop, and they've done a few updates to it. There's a new board. I like the new board better than the old board. It's bigger and it's brighter colours. There's some cards, there's some updated rules, there's some lovely plastic furniture which I'm very much enjoying, but the best bit is they've updated some of the miniatures. I love the old classic ones, but the new ones are nice to have as well. This is a goblin. It's from the 1989 version. This is from the 2020 version, and it's a goblin. Pointy ears, sharp stick. Very much likeable. You got an orc. It's got a sword, it's got tusks, it's green. Its mate has got swords, tusks, and is green. So far, so orc. Looks a bit more Lord of the Rings-ish, but I like the update. Then you've got the skeleton. It's a skeleton with a scythe. You can't really mess that up. And yep, absolutely fine. Like it very much. I also like the addition of the armor pieces to it. So yep, very happy with that one. Then we have got the zombie. It's a zombie. It's a dead body with a weapon, and it shambles around in torn clothes. Pretty much exactly the same thing. Very happy with it. Then we have got the mummy. And yeah, it's a dead body wrapped in bandages. In fact, that's my favourite one of the updates. It looks very, very cool. Then we move on to the Firmir. Now, Games Workshop owns the rights to Firmirs, so they couldn't use them for this new Hasbro one, so they've replaced it with this. It's an abomination, and it's an abomination. It's what that's called, but it's also an abomination. The Firmir is awesome. It's a sort of lizard creature with a big spiky tail and an axe. This is the fish. It's a fish. What's a fish doing in a dungeon? Get rid of it. I hate it. I don't like it. It's spiky, it's bendy, it's crap. Rubbish. This is the Firmir. It's freaking awesome. So surely somebody has done a 3D printed version of the Firmir, which is a bit bigger and a little bit more modern. So I had to dig around on Thingiverse and I found one by this fantastic maker right here. I'm going to print myself out some, do a few adjustments and see if I can't replace the abomination of a figure which is the abomination with an awesome looking, more dynamic Firmir who's a little less 80s and a little more sort of 2010-2020 aesthetic. Before I do that, however, thanks to everyone who has liked and subscribed, loads and loads more of you, and we are slowly increasing our numbers. If you haven't joined, now is the perfect time. Drag your cursor down, find the subscribe button, give that a click the bell next to it, and welcome to the legions of the evil wizard of Morcar. Poker nights on Wednesdays. So let's get printing ourselves some replacement abominations and make them look a little less fish-like and a bit more Firmir. Let's give this a try. Started off by locating some 3D prints of the classic Firmir model, and yeah, these printed out very, very nicely. The axe was a little bit skew-iff when I printed it, so yeah, that's come off quite badly, but these are just purely test prints, so that doesn't bother me too much, although it does let me know that when I'm printing out a Firmir, I need to be extra careful with the axes to make sure that they don't go weird. Then I had a quick look a bit further and found another Firmir which actually had a Morning Star, which is a big spiky club. That's more like it. There's a change from the original, but still keeps the original Firmir aesthetic, but didn't quite go far enough. And then I found a guy who's actually created one which is a little bit more dynamic. And I like this one very, very much. So yeah, this is the Firmir I'm going to be using. However, he is using the heroquest scale from 1988 and not the modern day heroquest one. So as you can see, the new abomination towers over him. So I'm going to need to increase the size of the print to make him into a bigger, badder version of the Firmir. Right. Let's get ourselves doing some alterations, up the scale a bit, and slice ourselves a new Firmir to print. And here we are in Lychee Slicer. Let's add ourselves some more supports in here to make sure that they don't fail, and make sure the axes are fully supported. And there we go, we'll just run the slicer and we'll create some nice STL files to print. Once this is printed, I'll run this through my LD002R resin printer. And these are done. Just remove the print bed. Make sure I don't spill any. Give it a little shake just to make sure there's no resin drops going to drop out and ruin anything. And we'll move this over to the printing table and clean these up, remove them from the build plate and remove the supports. Now I've put some nitrile gloves on to make sure I don't get any of this resin on my hands because it's nasty stuff. Just separate that carefully from the build plate without damaging the build plate. And we'll start removing the support materials. There isn't a lot on these. I've used fine supports and yeah, I printed it at super high detail. So it took a little while to print, but the layer lines are a lot thinner. You can barely see them. And the supports are a little finer so they don't cause any pop marks on the miniature. Just slice the bits off. There we go, and we'll sand these later. And we'll wash them in some isopropyl alcohol to get rid of the excess and then dump it in some water. With those guys freed, let's chuck them inside the UV nail curing station that I use to cure my nails, and we'll go from there. So there's the abomination. Ugly, nasty thing. And here is the painted and cured Firmir. He's big, he's chunky, he's in a lot more dynamic pose, and yeah, he's about the same size as the abomination. The abomination's quite tall, but it's also standing up straight, whereas the Firmir is sort of hunched over in sort of a battle crouch position. I painted him green, and just so he matches the original aesthetic of the orcs and greenskins from the original HeroQuest, and also from the new HeroQuest as well. They all seem to be green as well. I'm not planning to paint my new HeroQuest because I kind of like the base green, white and cream colours and the red ones for the heroes. And yeah, he's looking good and he matches up perfectly with the abomination. Okay, let's see how these go to scale. There is the barbarian and the dwarf versus the abominations. And let's see what these guys look like with the new figures and whether or not they stack up. And yeah, they look absolutely wonderful. They're the right size, they've got a nice dynamic pose to them, and yeah, they look a lot more imposing than some dumb fish man. And yeah, I'm liking these very, very much. Thanks for watching 3D Printed Soup. Don't forget to like, subscribe, stay happy and safe, and keep printing.